What's up everybody, Shadow Ninja here, and welcome back to another RageQuit review. As you can see by looking at the screen, we are reviewing Disney's The Lion King, the remake. Now, I know on the RageQuit channel, we're not really used to reviewing these Disney remakes. We usually review something like Marvel movies or horror movies or video games, but I really wanted to see this movie for a while now, and I got the chance to see it today, so I thought that it would be a great opportunity to sit down and talk to you about how I feel about the movie, if I liked it, or if I didn't like it. Now, for this review, we are not going to go on a spoiler tangent. We're not going to go from start to finish of the movie explaining what happened in the movie, because honestly, this story is so old. If you haven't already seen the original Lion King, what the hell are you doing, guys? But anyways, what we're going to do instead is we're going to talk about the hyper-realistic CGI that they used in this movie and the voice actors, and if they actually added to the movie or took away from what we saw as kids. So, let's get right into it. We're going to start off with the voice actors. I thought that everybody who played as their characters in this movie, everybody who played as a character, did a good job in one way or another. The only characters who I really had a problem with as far as voice actors go are Beyonce as Nala and Seth Rogen as Pumbaa, only because these two actors are so widely known and they have very distinct voices, and I thought that whenever they talked in the movie, I just saw those real people playing as those characters. I didn't actually feel that they were the characters. I personally thought that Beyonce as Nala was a little bit too mature and too deep voice to be playing as the character. Don't get me wrong, she's got a nice singing voice, and when she actually sung in those parts, it definitely felt like she was trying to overpower the other actors who were singing with her and trying to flex her singing skills just a little bit too much, and that kind of took away from her character. But, of course, she did do a good job in one way or another. She didn't completely bomb the role, and she does have acting experience, so I thought that she did a good job, but it just wasn't the right fit. I thought that maybe Beyonce could have been another character, maybe Simba's mother, considering she has a very mature and mother-like tone to her voice, but I mean, it is what it is, and she was okay, I guess, and Seth Rogen is just Seth Rogen. He has a very distinctive voice, and I thought that him as Pumbaa didn't really fit right, but of course, as I said about Beyonce, he did not do a bad job in any way, shape, or form, but the other actors I thought were perfect fits. The person who played, Donald Glover playing as Simba did an amazing job. Whoever played as Timon, he did an okay job as well. Mufasa was amazing. James Earl Jones came back and he reprised his role as Mufasa, and I thought that was absolutely incredible. I didn't actually think that he was going to come back, but he has such a distinct role and I couldn't see anybody else playing as that character. And of course, the actor who played a Scar. I have to admit, when I first saw the trailer and I heard him speak and I saw his character, I didn't really like him that much. I didn't think he was menacing. I didn't think that he sounded scary at all or looked scary. It could have just been how the lighting was in the trailer, and it didn't give Scar the very malicious and intimidating feel that he had in the cartoon. But of course, I was very surprised to find out that he is exactly how I wanted him to be, and he was a really good villain. He looked scary, he sounded scary. I thought that his voice actor did a very, very good job. And of course, Rafiki and Zazu, the voice actors who played as those guys, they did excellent as well, and I couldn't really tell the difference between the old and the new when it came to those voices. But, yeah, that's all I gotta say about the voice actors. Thought that they did a really good job, and a couple of the voice actors weren't as good as I would like them to be, but hey, it is what it is. And we're going to segue into the hyper-realistic CGI that the creators used to convey a more realistic approach to the story, as if the story happened in the real world today. As you know, the original story happens in a fantasy, but this new revamped version makes it seem like this story could actually happen with real looking animals. And don't be fooled by the realistic looking creatures in this movie. Everything is pretty much CGI, and I thought that that was absolutely incredible. We are in a new age now where things are not always as they appear, as CGI in real life is often blurred sometimes. We saw this in even Rogue One of the Star Wars story when they CGI'd Grand Moff Tarkin and Princess Leia, and they CGI dinosaurs, Godzilla. Everything looks so goddamn real nowadays, but these animals look amazing. And I saw some critiques that the story was actually not as good as it should have been because of the fact that animals in this movie do not have the same cartoony and animated expressions that they did in the original movie. And I can definitely see where they were talking about, because when you saw like when you saw that the characters had different emotions and different things were going on, they kind of had the same stale-faced expression. But guys, there is a justification for that. It's because animals do not hold human expressions. They do not smile, they do not frown. Obviously, in some parts of the movie, you can definitely see when certain characters are sad, they have a sad look on their face. When Simba's angry, he bares his teeth and he crinkles up his face, and you can definitely tell that Simba is pissed off. And that's basically it. That's the extent of the expressions. But most of the expression and most of the human personification of these animals is derived straight from the voice acting. And I thought that the voice acting definitely picked up where the facial expressions definitely made the characters lack. And I don't think that it took away from the movie. It may have just a little bit. The voice acting definitely excelled past and kind of overlooked that, and it outshined everything in the movie. And of course, I thought that the action scenes were awesome. I thought that the musical numbers were great. And it definitely, everything about this movie was ripped straight from the original cartoon. And it brought back my nostalgia, and I was there sitting with a smile on my face because I was like, hey, I remember that scene. Hey, I remember that scene. Everything was great. And I definitely, from start to finish, really liked this movie. And I definitely think that for any of you out there who like the original movie should definitely go see it. It's worth a watch, and it made me feel happy. I mean, I didn't walk out of the movie with a frown on my face, honestly. And I thought that out of all of the Disney remakes, this and probably Beauty and the Beast is up there. I didn't really care for Aladdin, and I'm pretty sure the new Mulan is not really going to do well. But hey, we'll have to see about that. Maybe I'll do a review on that one. But anyways, guys, I thought that the original movie was 10 times better, but they stayed true, and you could definitely feel that the writers, the directors, the people who made these characters, and the animators who made this movie come to life definitely did their homework. They sat down and they studied the movie, and any little detail that was in the original movie was expanded upon by 100%, and it looked so real, and it actually felt like you were there. You were in the action. It was all up in your face, and that was very intentional, and it definitely paid off. So, as I said before, I thought that the movie, the original cartoon, was 100 times better. I mean, it's a classic movie, and it had a great story, great characters, and, of course, the animations and the faces helped a lot. But the original movie gets like a 10 out of 10. As I said before, it's a classic story, classic movie. And I thought that this movie, this remake, wasn't as good, but it's riding its ass a little bit. It's right on top of it. There's just like a small distinction of these two movies and a small difference between these two movies. So, of course, the original movie was a 10 out of 10, and considering this movie wasn't as good, but it's getting close, it's like a 9 out of 10. And anyone who is skeptical about this live-action or hyper-realistic remake should definitely go into the movie and watch it, because it is very good, and I have to give credit where credit is due. Everybody who worked on this movie did a fantastic job, and it was like actually watching the real thing. It was watching the movie unfold, and even when you knew things were going to happen, when they did happen, they felt intense and they felt authentic, and everything was great, guys. And that's all I gotta say. So that is my review on Disney's The Lion King, the remake. What did you guys think of this movie? If you have seen it, and if you haven't, are you going to see it? Put it down in the comments below what you think about all this. Guys, if you did like this video, please consider giving it a like if you do feel obligated to. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, reviews, update reviews, video game, gameplay, funny moments, and more, press the sub tab and the bell on the side so you never miss a single upload. But guys, I'm Shadow Ninja. You just watched a RageQuit review on The Lion King, the remake, and I'll see you on the next one.